Hey everyone, welcome back to EverCrest. My name is Brittany and today we are going to be harvesting garlic. I could have probably harvested this garlic about a week or two earlier, so some of these are a little bit farther gone than what I like to see when I'm typically harvesting my garlic, but I just didn't get to it earlier. So what you want to look for when you're about to harvest your garlic is the bottom couple leaves of your garlic plant, your garlic stalk, starting to get brown and crispy. I'll show you what I mean. So if you look at the bottom of your garlic here, you can see that some of the leaves down here at the bottom are starting to get brown and dried out, and that's what we want to look for. We really want to look for the bottom like 2 or 3 leaves to be that way. Like I said, my garlic I probably could have harvested a few weeks earlier because they have more than just the 2 or 3 leaves at the bottom crispy and dry. They more have like 4 or 5, but it should still be okay. Now the reason you want to pull it whenever those 2-3 layers of leaves are starting to get brown and dried up is because that is the skin that is on the outside of your garlic bulb. That's what's going to protect it while it's storing. And if you let it go too far, then that skin, that papery skin on the outside, breaks down a little too far and is not going to store as well. Some of these I might have to use up before others because they might be, that papery skin might be just too far gone and I need to use up my garlic quickly. Now there are a couple awesome ways that you can use your garlic and store your garlic if your garlic paper is a little too far gone, like some of these might be. My favorite way of doing it is just chopping the garlic up in a food processor and blending it and then just keeping it in the refrigerator, which you buy chopped garlic from the store all the time. You can do the same thing with your garlic if your garlic gets a little away from you like mine has. Now that being said, that's for just the bulbs that are looking a little too far gone, and I'll show you that here in a few minutes. Or maybe if you accidentally pierce one of the bulbs with a shovel or a pitchfork, you can go ahead and use those right away as well. But most of these should be perfectly fine to store, and that's what I'm going to show you today. We're going to dig this garlic up. We're going to set it up to start curing, which is basically just a drying process that garlic needs to go through. It just makes sure that all of the moisture, the excess moisture, is out of the garlic before we store it. Curing process takes approximately 2 weeks. And I will show you what the curing process exactly looks like, but essentially you just lay your garlic out somewhere to dry. I like to lay mine on like pallets or something like that, under protection where they won't be in the sun and they won't be in the rain. And you let them sit for 2 weeks. Okay, to dig garlic, it's pretty simple. You can either use like a little fork or a trowel. That's what I'm using today, is just this little trowel that I have. And sometimes you're able to just pull the garlic out of the ground like this. This right here is a pretty tiny head, and it seems like most of my garlic is pretty small this year. I think it's because of this is a newer place that I planted it, and the soil here is just not the best. Garlic and onions are super heavy feeders, so they need a lot of food, and this soil is just not as fantastic as other places that I've planted it. So we're going to have some smaller heads of garlic this year, but that's okay. If your garlic is a little tougher and doesn't want to just pull out of the ground, we can just take a trowel or a fork and just gently loosen the soil around it, making sure not to get too close to that garlic clove because we don't want to pierce it. Whenever I dig my garlic, I like to take off as much soil as possible, but after these have cured for 2 weeks, we can go ahead and knock the rest of the dirt off of them because it'll be nice and dry. So I just wanted to show you real quick what happens if you let your garlic in a little too long. As you can see here, there is quite a few all the way up to the main stems have been dried off here. And these bottom leaves have completely disintegrated to nothing. And that was part of the paper skin that was protecting this garlic clove, which would have made it store really nicely. And you can see that this still has a coating, but it's just not as thick as it normally would have been. So this will probably still store okay, but it's definitely better to have all of that paper skin to really protect that garlic clove and help it store for the longest time possible. Now, as I was digging some of my garlic cloves and pulling some of them out, the paper stalk and everything was just so disintegrated that it pulled right out. And you can see here that it fully exposed these garlic cloves, and the paper skin isn't even on them at all anymore. I will go ahead and chop these up and use them as chopped garlic, or just use them in recipes right away, depending on how much garlic I have to use and how many kind of did this and are exposed. I can either just use them in dinner tonight, or I'll just chop them up and put them in the fridge. Okay, so this is our garlic haul right now. I have some more, which I will dig out a little bit later here, but I want to show you what to do with this garlic and how I like to lay it out so that it can dry. So you can either use a pallet like this right here to put your garlic on and dry, but all of our pallets right now are going to be used for stacking wood. So I'm going to put mine on an old table that I have under the porch back here. And this is how I like to lay my garlic out. You can see that it's all kind of in one layer. I don't want them stacked like this. I want them kind of in one layer. And then from there I can layer down and add more bulbs as we go. So this is all of our garlic laid out right here. And I pulled a couple of heads of garlic about a week ago to kind of show you what it looks like when they start to dry. So as you can see, all of the green leaves have pretty much turned to brown. There's still a little bit of green in here, so these still need to go a little bit. Like I said, these have been out for about a week, and the curing process usually takes about 2 weeks. As you can see, the dirt and everything up here has really started to dry, and you can start to easily knock that off and clean up those bulbs. When they are fully done curing, we'll go ahead and cut this off and finish cleaning it up. We can cut the roots off, cut the stem off, and then it is good to store. Hey everyone, Editing Brittany here. I am editing this video right now and realized that I did not have an ending to this video, so I just wanted to pop on and say thank you for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about garlic, about growing, storing, planting, curing, whatever your questions are, put them in the comment section below and I'd love to answer them. And we will see you in the next video, guys.